What's going on, guys? And welcome to episode 3 of the Road to the Big Show. I'm Billy Pinckney, and I'm joined by my co-host Taylor Motter. And Taylor is going to introduce today's special guest.
What's going on, guys? Pleasure to be back here. I got a heck of a guy on here with us today, Adron Chambers. Played around a little bit. He's done this, he's done that. Good dude. Excited to talk to him today. So my first question, just getting in, Adron, I'm gonna be honest. I saw here that you were a football player to start, went to Mississippi State, kind of played a little bit. Then you picked up baseball outside of that. Kind of just give me a little insight of what happened there. You went and played quarterback at Mississippi State, and then went to Pensacola, and then got drafted.
Yeah, man. First of all, I'm happy to be on your show. This is Billy, man. Like I told you already, you're a hard-working brother, man. So it's good to see you doing your thing. The microphone, you got everything set up very, very professional over there, man. So
Appreciate it, man.
I guess I can begin. You know, baseball was my first sport, but football was my first, like, real, if you could say, love. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoyed football growing up. I ended up getting a football scholarship to Mississippi State. Went to Mississippi, but at the same time, before that, I tore my ACL in high school in a game that I wasn't even supposed to play in because I had a scholarship at Mississippi State as a junior, right? So they didn't care that I played in the All-Star game in high school. They kind of told, the All-Star game was for guys that were looking for places to go, and they asked me not to play. My partners, they asked me to play, and I couldn't let my friends down at the time. I wasn't at the school, and then I had a great football year that year, so I didn't think no harm would be done. I ended up tearing my ACL. Still had my scholarship. Sylvester Croom still kept me on scholarship. Then I went to the Mississippi State, and I just wasn't the same athlete. I was going through a lot because of my injury. A few years prior, my grandmother was passed away. So it was some things I was dealing with personally. And I kind of felt like, that might, if I had to have a reason why, and plus my knucklehead ways, right? Taking responsibility of my actions. I made some poor decisions at Mississippi State that led me to transferring to Pensacola State College. I still was a good football player, and I really wasn't familiar with the whole college baseball process, but my pitching coach that was at Pensacola Junior College, he came to my house and asked me to come play baseball, man, and I had a great year. They gave me a scholarship, offered me a scholarship rather, and I took it, had a very good year, and put up some good numbers to where the Cardinals asked me to come to a tryout in Memphis, Tennessee. I took a bus, 20-hour bus to Memphis. Man, that's a story in itself. I did very well in the tryout. They offered me $50,000 right there on the spot. My coaches were telling me, don't take it. They stealing you. You're worth way more than that. But given the fact that I was going through a lot of, after leaving Mississippi State and just the mental aspect of life, man, that was challenging me for a long time, I'm just happy to be able to talk about it today and share this type of information with y'all, but that was kind of like the road from Mississippi State into the baseball world into what you got now.
How long did it take you? How long did you take off of baseball before you started playing at Pensacola? A couple years?
Yeah, because I tore my ACL, right? So I missed my senior year of baseball, which baseball was really like that sport for me. All the coaches knew I was a fast runner. I pitched. I was an outfielder, but I was a whole lot better pitcher, which, after tearing my ACL, that changed everything. Yeah, man, it was, I don't know, life after Mississippi State, man, was different. You know what I'm saying? It was challenging.
Yeah.
It was challenging. Yeah. So even now, like I said, having to go back and think about all of this stuff, man, it really brings back memories where I know, we might, like we talked about on the time. It's like I want to share everything with y'all on how it went down, but it's very important that, you just understand who you are as a person. That's very important. You know what I mean? Because life gonna hit you with all type of challenges. You know what I mean? All type.
Well, we might get a chance for a part 2 in here. So
Yeah, man.
I'm good with it, man. I mean, I think you got a lot of wisdom and a lot of stories to tell, and I think we all want to hear it. And like I said, I kudos to you for going back and doing that, because it's hard to give up something after an injury and go back, especially in high school age. You're 17, 18 years old, and then when you see 50 grand put in front of you, it ain't that easy to turn down. I mean, we all know I made way less than that, and I was in the 17th round, and I still was excited to get my 10 grand check and put in my bank account. So I think you made a good decision.
Just to add a little bit to that, man, it's crazy because, like I said, the coaches were telling me they were stealing me or whatever, but it's like, you know, now that I really think about that process, man, I was really on that verge of just wanting to clear myself. You know what I mean? That's why, I don't really, I would love to hear your story, you know what I'm saying? But just being able to have that clean version of, throughout sports, no injury, no, terrible neighborhood of growing up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I went through some tough challenges in my life to where, it really, it really changed my outlook on things after things started happening. You know what I mean? Like I said, just sitting here thinking about it, I kind of lost my train of thought because it was like, man, I really, I've been having to tell this story the last couple of weeks. I've been having a few interviews being here in Canada, and it's like more stuff just keep popping in my head. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I took that scholarship. I mean, I took that 50 grand. I did do that. I took it and ran with it,
And if I'm not wrong, I think you ended up winning a World Series ring out of it, right?
We went back to the World Series. Yeah, man, it's been some good things and some great stories. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
You know what I mean? You ask the right question, you might be able to hear some real good stories out of it, for real.
I think we're gonna have to find time for some of those. That's for sure.
Definitely. Excuse me for kind of getting off the topic right there, but.
Oh, look, man, you're good. We're kind of just flowing and going off whatever pops up. And like I said, I'm not trying to do it really in chronological order. We're trying to get the real story and the real version of what's going on and how you made it. This is road to the big. So how did you make it? You know what I mean? So I'm good with all of it. Right. There's going to be a few questions that we put in. Like my next question is, when you go to these low A teams or these high A teams, and back then we're making pennies. Right. How was living for you? Like, how was doing it? What are some stories? Like, do you have a funny story, a weird story, a bad story about when you were just coming up and you were like, man, I might not be able to do this, or man, I'm going to dominate this shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is me.
Yeah, man, I got a whole bunch of them. I'll tell you one story about, I know you familiar with, or maybe familiar with St. Louis and the hitting coach that they just hired over there, Jeff Albert. Okay. And Mike Schilt, right? Yep. Mike Schilt was, he's the manager. And I remember coming to practices in spring training, and I would get rides from him sometime. We stayed in the DoubleTree together. And he would always tell me to have a plan every day, That's what really, I tell people all the time, Mark McGuire and Tony La Russa really implemented that idea of having a plan every day. But Mike Schilt was really the first to really remind me of that every single day. And he wasn't no manager at the time. He was, had a notepad trying to learn himself. You know what I mean? The Cardinal way. It was his first couple of years there. My first year there. Yeah, man. I keep getting reminded of stuff, getting sidetracked with all this information. You know what I mean? But I guess going through the minor leagues earlier, man, and getting paid it really wasn't on my mind. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, it was obviously we weren't getting paid, and the story I'm gonna tell you about Jeff Albert and why he allowed me to stay at his house, and this was in high, right? So I wasn't getting paid, we weren't getting paid a lot of money, but I always had like coaches and teammates that we'll work together. I remember playing with a lot of the Latino players. They would get an apartment and all of them would stay there. You know what I mean? They would stay there. So, I kind of took that approach at the same time early in my career. So the finances part, even though we weren't getting paid a lot, I know, Billy, I think we talked about that one time about getting paid in the minor leagues, which is bad. You already know.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, you know, my mind was, I didn't see that until like afterwards because we so young and I'm away from my home in Pensacola. You know, I think everybody should move away from their hometown just to be able to experience other ways of life. But we weren't getting paid a lot. I was staying with Jeff, and I still remember this because I had me my Acura Legend. My brother had gave it to me. Well, he didn't give it to me. I worked for it, and I had fixed it up. Very nice car too. And I still remember this because, you know, like I said, I was living with him. So, and he was like a big brother to me. He wasn't too much older than me. And just a reminder of being in the minor leagues. It was after a game, and he went home first. He lived right across the street from the stadium. So I would drive over, and you know, he would let me go out, you know, and do my thing, as long as I came home at a decent time. Well, this
Yep.
time I was coming home, and I parked my car outside, and the way the parking lot was, it was like you had cars parked. This is the apartment I'm looking at, and you had cars parked in front and on the side. So when you pull up, you know, unless you park, you're gonna be blocking everybody that's in front. Well, uh, I called myself going upstairs to go get something out of my room and then coming out. Well, that week I was having a real good week at the plate, and he's the hitting coach. And so he stopped me for a minute as I was leaving. Like, hey, look, I want you to check out this at bat. And I didn't want him to know that I was going out somewhere, but you know, he didn't care. I was just trying to go in and go out. So I stopped, looked at the video, and he was like, yeah, what you think about this? And then he started going. Jeff is so, he probably started all of the analytics, man. This joker here is so everything about the game when it comes to hitting. And he started grabbing my attention, like, wow, I didn't even see that, coach. And boom, next thing you know it, I was saying good night to him 2 hours later. My car is still running outside, and I done went into bed. The next morning comes, he comes knocking at the door saying, Adron, go move your car. Your door is wide open, and my wife can't leave to go to work. I done left my car outside with my car door open the whole night. I'm surprised nobody stole my car. It was crazy. But those memories come to mind because it's like I wasn't really thinking about money. I was living with him. It was just, we were young and free, inexperienced with a lot of things that came along with the game, man. It was the fine. You right though. We didn't make a lot of money, but it wasn't really nothing on my mind. I kind of felt like I was gonna make it sooner or later.
I think you said it right, that I picked up in that. I like the fact that you said all kids need to get away from home.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, man, I remember playing travel ball I'm from Palm Beach. So I was playing travel ball up in Orlando. And granted, you know, I was 2 hours away, but I was getting away. I was ready to go. And then when college came around, I went to Coastal Carolina, and I'm all the way in South Carolina playing. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I learned how to be on my own. I learned how to feed myself, do my laundry, things like that. Just be free, like you said. And I think that helps with baseball guys a lot. If they get coddled and they're getting mommy and daddy every second that they get in trouble, it's going to hurt them when they go play these minor league seasons. When they're gone 160 games on their own, they're not getting paid. They don't know what to do. They're stressing out. They're crying. You know what I mean? All this stuff just starts adding up, and it's like, damn, I can't play this game anymore.
Most definitely. And like I was telling one of my 13U players, I just did an interview with him, and I was telling him that as my daughter walks in the room, I was telling him that, you know, people, a lot of times, you know, people don't understand the college level. We playing what, 50, 60 games, whatever that may be, 70 if you want to call it. When you're in the minor leagues and the major league, you playing 162, 142. You know what I mean? It's and it ain't no days off really. You know what I mean? It's like baseball all day long. And that alone would be, you know what I'm saying, something that gets guys released. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't understand the process in what goes on in the minor leagues or the process of becoming a major league player, man. So being able to leave home and experience people, now you got help, right? You got people that can teach you. You learn to respect. You learn the responsibilities. Like I think everybody should leave their home just for a little while to be able to see how it is in other places. I know a lot of my friends, and I know I talk a lot, but a lot of my friends, they never left Pensacola. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They've never been outside of my family members. They've never been outside of the norm. You know what I mean? And a lot
That
of
security blanket. They never left that security blanket,
and it kind of stunts you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That learning opportunity is missed because you just coddled in this shell. You don't want to get out of that shell.
Yeah. Billy, what do you got, man?
Now, I mean, I want to talk about the Cardinals organization because it's known to be a very solid system, known to produce a lot of great young talent. What did you notice was different, maybe, of how other teams organized their minor league system, some of the structural differences, and, how the Cardinals were so dominant in producing those guys?
I'm not familiar with what's going on now, but I know when I was there, Tony La Russa was the reason of and this everybody else that was on the staff. We still had Mark McGuire and some great, ex-players, you know what I mean? But what I seen different, just like when I first left. When I first left, I went to Houston, right? Which the general manager for Houston that year was Jeff, who just left St. Louis, right? But when they say the Cardinal way, let me see if I can define it a little bit. It's like, you got a fan base that really loves the game of baseball. You know what I mean? And you got a team going in Houston, which the fans love it, but they ain't winning. They don't have as many Ozzie Smiths and Willie McGee's. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, they have some great athletes, but
Bob Gibson, Lou Brock. I
you know
mean,
what I mean? Like you got so many, like the Yankees, you got so many guys that can come back to spring training or come back to now we looking at Stan Musial. You know what I mean? We looking at these guys that are looked at in baseball in baseball history as some of the greatest, right? So this is what we want to be like. We want to be like Ozzie. We want to be like Willie. We want to be like Chris Carpenter. You know what I mean? We want to be like these great people that have come through the organization, and we got a chance to see and hear their conversations. So when it comes to like Cubs, for example, they have some great names, right? Why don't they win a lot of championships or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, having that, Ernie Banks is like one of my greatest later on in my career, especially, let's play two. But it's like, when you look at St. Louis, it's like, man, the history just goes so deep when it comes to these players. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a family, no matter what year it was.
It's like it's so. This is not to knock the Cubs because I appreciated my years with every team that I've been on. It's a baseball family, right? But a team like the Cardinals, Billy, it was special to be a part of because they actually made you feel like you were a part of the family, and it made you want to get better.
Right.
It wasn't just Albert Pujols or Ozzie Smith. You looking at this fan base, and they like, man, they really want you to be accountable, and not just when you do bad, booing you either. You know what I mean? They really
Right.
try to pick you up. Where a lot of organizations, Philly, for example, you go there and they gonna boo you if you don't do, you know what I'm saying, your job, which is understandable. But in St. Louis, I still think one of the greatest moments I seen in St. Louis when Chipper Jones came and they gave him a standing ovation, man. It was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like this man is with a whole nother organization, and the whole stadium stood up, and it made him feel good. I'm pretty sure he was like, man, I wish I would have been over here too to experience this. So the Cardinals,
Smart fans make a good,
yes, they do.
Good team.
Yes.
Smart fans, not just loyal fans, but smart fans make a good team.
They know during an inning how important a double play is because everybody in the stands paying attention. They understand a ball in the dirt that Yachty just blocked, and they clapping for him because he just stopped that run from scoring from third base. Like they're into the game. Every one of them, it seemed like, you know what I mean? Even though they got their beer in hand, everybody seemed like they paying attention. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When you were with St. Louis, were you with a guy, Johnny Rodriguez? Was he there when you were there?
Yeah, big Johnny Rodriguez, right
Yep.
field.
No. He was a coach, I think. He's Sean Rodriguez's
Oh, you
father.
my little short Johnny Rodriguez. Yeah, very
Yeah.
smart guy though. Very like
Man.
soft spoken, but he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah. So he's with me in St. Pete right now. I hit with him and work out with him. So I'll tell him I talked to you a little bit. But yeah, he's a Cardinal way dude. He talks about it all the time and we go hit and stuff like that. And that's where he grew up and got all of his coaching and stuff. So he loved it too.
Make sure you tell him I said what's up, man. It's some names, dog, back in St. Louis, dog, that I still think about to this day. And that he's one of them, man. He understood the game of baseball. You know, a lot of guys like him don't get appreciated enough, but you tell him I said hello when you see him, man. Most definitely.
I will, absolutely. Yeah, he's down here. He's trying to get another coaching job. He's helping out with some high school teams around here, a couple Christian high schools, coaching them and kind of, I guess, doing what you're doing, you know, kind of staying involved with the younger youth. And, you know, we want to give back at the end of the day. So I want to let you touch on a little bit of that, but I know he's trying to stay involved however he can and bring his knowledge to whatever.
I tell you, for anybody that watches this and want to learn the game, he'll be one of the best to get it from. You know what I mean? He understands the game, you know, and very intuitive, you know what I'm saying? He's attention to detail type of guy, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's a good one. But yeah,
so
man.
you had mentioned you're up in Canada, you're doing your thing, right? What do you got going on?
Yeah, man, this is the team that I'm coaching this year, the Saint Anthony, you know, Angels. Yeah, man, I had a daughter out here in Canada. I won a championship out here in 2016 with the Ottawa champion. Billy know all about that.
I do.
Which was a great baseball too. That was a great series right there.
It was.
That was fun. But yeah, man. So I got here, and I really didn't know what to do. You know, I'm on a visitor's visa, so this is me volunteering. I do the same thing back home with my organization, Swing Champ. In which the idea of it all is to be able to use baseball as a tool for young athletes to be able to, you know, see the world, learn, experience, educate themselves just on, you know, baseball material. You know what I mean? Like baseball has such a rich history and so many life's principles inside of it. I think sports in general, right? I love music. I heard Kobe say this the other day. I was watching an interview from him. Music is wonderful, right? Music is like, it really touches the soul. But in sports, it's like the physical side of it. You know what I mean? The actual body, the movement, you have to do that. Those same lives, that feeling that you get from music is the same feeling, but with movement, with sports, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's when people, and you know, both of y'all as being athletes, when you hit that ball on a button, you know, you don't even feel it, or when you feel the ground ball nicely, or catching a dive and making a dive and play on the ball. It's like, it's a feeling that is unexplained, and you just want to get that feeling over and over and over and over, right? And so with Swing Champ and being able to coach, that's what I want kids to really understand, you know, how, you know, putting in this type of work, that feeling that when you got that good hit, you know, you can do that again. It's just that baseball is that challenging sport, right? To where it's like, you know, a lot of people stop doing it because, you know, I don't hit it every time like that, or I don't catch every ball like that. But over time, when you keep practicing, you're going to stay hungry for it, and making an error is not even going to come to your mind because you continue to practice. It's just, baseball is it takes a little bit longer to master, just like boxing, right? You know, or any sport, but baseball in particular, because of the obstacle, you know, hitting a round ball with a round bat. You know what I'm saying? Like when you really put science in this kind of stuff, it's like, wow, like this is really a art. You know what I mean? So using baseball to promote the idea of, you know, more education, going to school, you know what I mean? Wanting to work your body out, being with a team, understanding, competing with yourself, you know, things like that, I think really, you know, excites the youth when taught the right way. And why not guys like y'all or me that play the game and be able to speak of it in our own special ways? You know, I just now I'm just realizing that I do have a niche for that, you know, for teaching and how I teach and how I get it from the parents all the time. I talk a lot of junk. I can't lie. I do go out there and I talk a lot of junk, but it's the way that I do it. You know what I mean? I learn
Yeah.
from the coaches that coach me. So I use that same type of material with my own, you know, lessons. And, you know, it's been a good mix for me, man. I've been really able to touch, you know, these people's lives. And, you know, in life, Ron Polk always said, you know, I don't know if y'all know Ron Polk, but the great Mississippi State legend over there, he used to say, you know, just you want to be able to touch one person in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, be able to say something nice. You know what I mean? And that's really my goal when I go out there and practice and when I play. I was always wanting to help one person, encourage one person. If somebody was down, know how to lift them up. Like, that's always been my career. And now I get to do that with some young 13-year-olds and really show my potential in being a coach and possibly maybe coaching with you one day. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
never knowing, you know, just being able to use my potential or what I bring to the table to the best of my ability.
Yeah, this game's funny like that, man. It always comes full circle. But I really like that you say that people don't understand how far a good teammate goes. You know, at the end of the day, we all have our stories and this and that. But at the end of the day, having that one guy that says something nice and lifts you up and helps you through a hard time is always needed and it's underestimated. So I appreciate that. I know we're coming close to an end here. I'd love to get you back on for a part two and kind of hear some more of the stuff, man. You just sound like a ball full of wisdom and a good guy to talk to and have on the show. And I think we're really looking forward to getting you on for a part two, hopefully. But I
Hey,
think we're going to have to.
before you go, I'm gonna say just of an example of maybe John and Daniel will see this, but Daniel Descalzo and John Jay, they really come to mind when it comes to what you just said, being a good teammate. They were like brothers, man. I'm talking. I never seen a pair so close to one another to where it was like, man, y'all a little bit too close to one another. Like that close with y'all wives, man. Like, what's going on? But you can see it after looking at their careers, you know, which lasted way longer than mine. You know, you can just see how beneficial that was for them. And I'm pretty sure they can talk about that, you know, with length. Like, they were always together. They was always motivating each other. And they had an unorthodox approach to the game. Look at John Jay. He don't look like a center fielder. And in my book, he's one of the greatest center fielders. That's just my book, though. Look at Dirty Dan. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, he was diving for balls like a lunatic out there. Tony La Russa would put him in at the end of the games for replacement, taking David Freese out, taking Rafael Furcal out to put Dan. Like, they had such a great respect for the game and attitude towards or approach to the game. And I think it was based upon that relationship that they had. They were always motivating one another. So that's a good point that you bring up right there. That's so much of this analytic stuff that I got to learn. So that'll be good for us to kind of share our wisdom on hitting and the approach of the game nowadays. Because you didn't play, you know, it's a lot different. You know what I mean?
Well, shit, I'm leaving for spring training here in 5 days. I'm going back out.
Listen, man, let me tell you. Oh, and you still playing. That's my fault. It's like, bro, like what y'all experiencing, dog, is like what, man? Like I got a picture of mine that I worked with all winter break last year. Chad Bryant, and he is phenomenal. I don't know if you know him or follow him on Instagram, but Chad, man, he is a beast, man. I became a personal trainer for him. And the things that he's telling me that y'all having to go through, man, is like, and then the investment, like they investing in y'all health a little bit more now. It's just everything is changing, man. It's coming up on 10 years for this World Series anniversary. And it's like hard for me to believe, like, damn, it's been 10 years already. I've been out of the game for a long, long time, you know. But
Yeah.
more power.
It's funny because I've seen it, but like you said, when it started, dude, we were showing up for spring training. They weren't worried about health, food, sleep. Shit, I showed up to the big leagues with Seattle, and we're sitting there talking about we're gonna wear sleep bands at night so they know how much sleep we're getting at night. We're gonna have a certain like lunch, like you're gonna have greens, carbs, all this stuff for lunch, proteins. They were bringing in mental guys. I never had a mental guy. We were bringing in mental guys to sit down with you a couple times a week. Like,
Yeah,
And
man.
I haven't been in pro baseball. I was in Korea last year, so I kind of been out of it. So now they're starting to bust open all these hitting apps where you can go in and break down your swing and all these virtual reality, like taking pitches and stuff. You could see what pitch is coming. And dude, it's blowing my mind right now, and I ain't even there yet.
I want to hear about your time in Korea too, man. But because you already know the game, the approach to the game is wild. I can only imagine, right? But man, listen, like I applaud you for what you're going through with all this COVID stuff they scaring us with. It's like I applaud you, man. Like hey, do your thing, go bust some ass. Cause right now, if anybody is playing, I think this is the perfect opportunity to make yourself known, man. So
Yeah, I
shock,
appreciate it.
yeah, shock the world. Don't hold nothing back, man. I'm telling you, because 10 years will go by and you'll be like, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
what year did you get drafted?
I was drafted in 11.
Yeah, man. So you've been here for a while too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
bruh, man,
I'm
it's
at the end of the ladder right now, bro. Just turned 31, so yeah, we're hitting the end of it right now.
yoga. If you ain't doing it already, you know what I mean? Meditate. I got a guy Willie Horton, who is one of the, I'm pretty sure Billy know that name right there. But you too, you know, Willie Horton, one of the greatest athletes to ever play, right? Detroit Tigers.
Yep.
I talk to him all the time. Him and Jake Wood, and they always telling me, man, meditate. You know, they didn't work out like we do. You know what I mean? Like now we work out like crazy. We didn't do that, and they still were beasts. But it was because of
Yep.
how they approached the game in real life situations. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect. Well, I love it, Billy. If you want to go ahead and take us out, and then we'll get cracking on a part two, because I'm not done hearing all this wisdom you got for all these kids and fellow players and coaches and everything out there.
For
Yeah, man.
sure. Adron, appreciate it, man.
Hey man, thank y'all, man, for having me. Hey, whenever y'all ready for part two too, let me know. If I gotta wear the same clothes, same hat, we can make it look good, or I could change it up. You know, it don't matter. But yeah, man, yeah, stay with me, and yeah, I stay with y'all, man. Again, thank you for having me.
All right. We'll see you guys next time here on the road to the big show.
Peace.